At 71, the tragedy of Oprah Winfrey is beyond heartbreaking. Not because she has fallen from grace, but because her life reveals the silent cane that even the most powerful hearts must carry. For decades, Oprah has been the face of hope, compassion, and transformation. She gave a voice to the voiceless, light to those lost in their own darkness. To millions around the world, she isn't just a talk show host, she's family. She's the one who taught us to believe, to forgive, to rise. Yet behind the warmth of her smile and the confidence of her presence lies a story that is quietly aching, a story of a woman who has spent a lifetime giving everything to others, and in the process has had to heal herself again and again. Born on January 29, 1954, in the rural poverty of Kosciuszko, Mississippi, Oprah's beginnings were as far from glamorous as possible. Her childhood was not one of laughter and play, but of survival. Her mother worked as a maid. Her father was mostly absent. She wore dresses made from potato sacks and was teased by other children for it. By the time she was 9, her innocence had already been stolen, sexually abused by men who were supposed to protect her. By her early teens, she had run away from home multiple times, seeking freedom from pain that no child should ever endure. When she became pregnant at 14, the world around her judged and shamed her, and when her premature baby died shortly after birth, she faced the unbearable truth that her first experience of motherhood would end in heartbreak. That loss became the silent core of her life, the kind of pain that never fully fades, even under the spotlight of success. But Oprah refused to let tragedy define her. Instead, she turned her suffering into strength. Her intelligence, charisma, and empathy became her greatest tools. In her teenage years, she won a scholarship to Tennessee State University and began working in local radio. She wasn't polished, but she was real, and people felt that. When she transitioned to television, she broke every rule of the industry. She didn't pretend to be perfect or detached. She cried with her guests, she listened without judgment, and she felt their pain as if it were her own. By the time The Oprah Winfrey Show reached its peak, she wasn't just a talk show host. She was a phenomenon. Millions of viewers tuned in daily, not for entertainment, but for connection. People felt understood, validated, seen. Oprah created a space where the human spirit could breathe. Her interviews with world leaders, celebrities, and ordinary people carried the same message that everyone's story matters. But while she was healing the world, she was often fighting private battles of her own. Fame can be a blessing, but it can also be isolating. Oprah became one of the most powerful women on earth, a billionaire, a producer, a cultural icon, yet her inner circle remained remarkably small. Her lifelong partner, Stedman Graham, offered quiet stability, but their relationship was unconventional, and she chose never to marry or have children again. In later interviews, she admitted that motherhood was not something she could balance with her career, and that decision, though made rationally, came with an undercurrent of loss. I realized that if I had children, she once said, my children would hate me. She knew her purpose was different, yet that knowledge didn't always silence the ache. As the years passed, Oprah's public victories grew. Her production company, her magazine, her philanthropy, and her network, OWN. But behind the success was a woman constantly grappling with the question, who am I when I'm not helping others? When the camera stopped rolling and the stage lights faded, she was left with herself, the little girl from Mississippi who had endured so much. Many who have worked closely with her have spoken of her depth, her generosity, but also her solitude. She lives surrounded by beauty and nature at her Montecito estate, yet often spends long stretches in quiet reflection. The house is filled with books, memories, and the soft hum of stillness, a palace of peace, but also of introspection. In her 60s, Oprah began to speak more openly about aging, about the changes in her body, the shifts in her spirit, the humility that comes with realizing that even icons must slow down. She's faced health scares like thyroid issues and weight related struggles that have reminded her of her humanity. You don't get to this age without collecting the few scars, she said in a recent interview. She's lost mentors and friends, people like Maya Angelou, Sidney Poitier, and Tina Turner, who once anchored her emotionally. Each passing left another quiet hole in her heart. She has confessed that she often feels their absence deeply, that grief doesn't lessen with time, it simply becomes part of you. And yet, in her heartbreak, Oprah continues to find purpose. Through her productions, book club, and countless philanthropic efforts, she still gives, still uplifts, still believes in light. But what makes her story so profoundly tragic is not that she has lost, it's that she's carried so much for so long with such grace that the world sometimes forgets she's human. The tragedy of Oprah Winfrey is not one of downfall, but of endurance, of a woman who has had to be strong for everyone, even when she needed someone to be strong for her. At 71, she stands as a living paradox, immensely fulfilled, yet quietly haunted, celebrated by millions, yet sometimes profoundly alone. Her laughter still fills rooms, her words still move hearts, but in her eyes there's a wisdom that only comes from decades of rising from the ashes of pain. Her life reminds us that success does not shield you from sorrow, that wealth does not buy peace, and that even the most inspiring souls carry invisible wounds. Oprah Winfrey's story is not just a tale of fame, it's a testament to the human spirit. It's the story of a little girl who was told she would be nothing, yet became everything. It's the story of a woman who turned trauma into truth, pain into purpose, and heartbreak into hope. And yet, it's also a story that reminds us that no matter how high you rise, the heart remains fragile, longing for love, belonging, and understanding. That is the quiet tragedy of Oprah Winfrey, and perhaps the quiet truth of us all.